Hey everyone, welcome to Day Deal on Display. Today we are going to be taking a look at the Trident Aegis case for the Motorola DROID RAZR. You are more than welcome to check this case out over at its homepage at any time. That is going to be located at www.tridentcase.com. And of course, do not forget to check it out on our own homepage as well at www.daydeal.com. So let's go ahead and get this video rolling by giving you the unofficial tech specs for the Aegis case on the DROID RAZR. Now I want to remind you guys that with all the measurements that we give you here at Day Deal on Display, if they're not directly from the manufacturer, they are merely approximations, alright? So they're not meant to be 100% accurate. We want to give you guys an idea of what to expect when you own the product for your phone, okay? Let's go ahead and start with the weight of the Aegis. As you can see, it's around 57 grams, so that means that this cover is pretty heavy duty. It's very thick and it's very bulky, so this is not a lightweight, thin accessory for the DROID RAZR. Please keep that in mind while you're watching the rest of it, because if you're already not interested, chances are I can convince you otherwise by the end of it. So moving on to the length measurements, that is going to be approximately 135.5 millimeters, maybe even 136 at its thickest part. And onto the width. That is going to be around 75.5 millimeters. And finally, the depth of the Aegis. That's going to be around 13 millimeters, maybe even 13.25, depending on where you measure it at, even at the emblem. Okay, so hopefully you found those dimensions useful. And that is it for the unofficial tech specs on the Aegis case for the DROID RAZR. So moving forward, let's go ahead and move our little measurement case out of the way and talk about these retail packages in front of us. Now the Aegis is available in 5 different colors. We have black, blue, and pink in front of us right now, still in their shiny packages. We showed you the Trident green version of the case a little bit earlier, and yes, this is called Trident green. So if you're shopping around and you want this color specifically, you have to use Trident green, otherwise it may not pop up in search results. And continuing here at Day Deal on Display with our Tradition and Trident Aegis cases, we are going to showcase the red version on our dummy phone DROID RAZR. All right. I also want to mention that the Aegis is currently the only accessory from Trident for the phone right now. In the future, you may see the Kraken AMS or even the Cyclops, but the Aegis is all they have, and I personally believe it's good enough, and I'll talk to you about that in just a moment. But moving forward, let's go ahead and showcase the screen protector kit. Now, this screen protector insert that you see right here, or kit, comes with all Aegis cases, all right? And it has an applicator card, which you saw at the beginning of the video, that merely has the web address of the company on there. And if you flip it over, it even has the physical address of Trident right there for you to see. I'm not too sure why they put it there, but I guess they have nothing to hide. So go ahead and visit them, bring them a gift basket, etc., stuff like that. They also have a QR code for you to scan. I'm not too sure where it leads to. I think it leads to the product demo for the case in question, but I could be wrong. You're more than welcome to find out. Speaking of QR codes, there's one on the manual as well. This is self-explanatory stuff. This is going to show you how to properly install your case, as well as the screen protector, and there's another QR code to scan. I believe that leads to the screen protector installation video. If it doesn't, it should lead to the product page, and if that doesn't, it leads to some mysterious website where you're more than welcome to find out. Next up is a white microfiber cleaning cloth, pretty self-explanatory. I don't need to go over this in detail. You probably have a drawer full of these like I do. And last but not least, the screen protector for your DROID RAZR phone. Okay. Now the Aegis case is a layered accessory. Okay, this is a very common design nowadays with all the big brand names and even aftermarket. It is a layered accessory because it consists of more than one layer that is made of a different material. Okay, now some folks out there use hybrid case. We personally believe that hybrid is any type of cover that's one piece that's made of more than one material. This is 2 different materials but 2 different layers, hence a layered case. All right, and OtterBox agrees with us, and hey, that's a good enough resource for us. Okay, now moving on to the silicone skin portion first. This is layer number 1 or layer number 2 if you count screen protector as layer number 1, but nonetheless this is very thick on the Aegis. This is actually the thickest part of the case, and in the past this wasn't necessarily so. For those of you who are Trident fans, you'll notice that the Aegis has gone under a major revision. I think we first saw this design for the T989, but now it's also available for the Amaze, I believe, and now today for the DROID RAZR. So I think they're going to stick with this, and we're very, very happy that they are doing so, because first and foremost, On the skin, guys, there's actually an anti-static coating to it. It feels very smooth, nice to the touch. More importantly, it does not attract lint as much as it used to, okay? And that's a very big boon for most of us out there who really like the way our cases look, and sometimes we want to clean it, but we can't do it on the fly because all we end up doing is making it look worse with the lint. On this version of the Aegis, since it has that coating on it, I'm not saying that it's lint-proof, but it's a lot easier to clean, and it just looks a lot nicer, a lot sharper, a lot more professional, and there you go. Now, I am going to go ahead and talk about all the dust covers and coverings for the buttons in just a moment on our pre-installed version. Let's go and move on to the shell. Okay, this is nothing out of the ordinary. This is just a polycarbonate shell. It goes over the skin. It helps reinforce the case overall, because it's always nice to have two types of materials on any case, because one is better at doing something than the other. There's nothing much to speak about on the inside except for that little dust grill that's over the speaker port, so that's kind of a nice addition. And I do want to mention this is polycarbonate, okay, so that's why it's thin. For those of you out there who are wondering what the heck's the difference between polycarbonate and regular plastic, and if they're interchangeable, no, they're not. Standard plastic has a very kind of hollow feel to it, and it's actually quite brittle. If you drop it a few times, it develops fractures in it, and then eventually it shatters or cracks like completely in half. Polycarbonate, there's a little bit of flex to it, okay? It's a little bit bendable, and that allows you to have it a little bit thinner because it's still going to absorb the same shock, but it also deflects it by bending ever so slightly, and that's very important. So it isn't that prone to cracking, and more importantly, it's not going to shatter that easily on you. So it's a really great material. That's the difference between the two, and that's why you guys pay more money for polycarbonate cases than you do for plastic cases, right? Moving on to the pre-installed version, let's go and get this show on the road. This is what everyone wants to see. As you can see, the Aegis case creates a very beautiful lip on the front of the phone, nice and consistent, and it's very bright. So depending on whatever color you happen to get, even black, I would say, it sticks out quite a bit, and it's always very attractive. Now, having a thick lip on a case provides you the benefit of being able to keep your phone elevated at all times, up and away from any surface you're resting it on, even if you rest the phone on its face. And of course, it also provides the protective benefit of protecting your phone's screen, and hopefully the lip will catch the impact first if it does a dead drop on its face, but chances are it's not going to do it. But if it does, you're lucky to have that lip there. Moving on to the top, we have a nice large dust cover for the HDMI and USB port. It's even labeled as well, which is very sexy, from Trident. You open it up, there you go. Those are your ports exposed. It is a little bit recessed in there, but the OEM cables should fit just fine. Moving on to the audio jack, okay. Has a little nub on there that you can actually go ahead and grab onto, which is a nice little touch. It makes life a lot easier. And you see right there, it's actually quite recessed. So that means, guys, that if you have a straight connector tip, you're fine. If you have an angled connector tip, I doubt it's going to fit in there. Please look into using a 3.5mm female port extender. If you don't know what those are, they're a dime a dozen on eBay, and I think even on Amazon as well, so check those out. Moving on to this side, you have a covering for the micro SD card slot, okay, and that exposes the covering for the micro SD card slot because one's already built onto the phone. This may seem a little bit redundant, but it makes sense that it's there because it just makes the case nice and consistent. If they just left a big hole right here, it would look a little bit unsightly, okay. Moving on to this side, we have a covering for the power button. It's labeled, as well as the volume up and down buttons, which are also labeled, which is very nice. They stick out quite a bit, and they are easy to press. Moving on to the back of the case, you can see the Trident logo at the bottom, the Trident emblem in the center, and the opening for the camera lens, LED flash, and the built-in speaker, once again with that dust grill over it, okay? And that is it, guys, for the Trident Aegis case for the Motorola DROID RAZR. So closing thoughts and comments on this particular accessory for your phone. Please keep in mind the dimensions I gave you earlier in the video. This is not a lightweight accessory. This is going to add some bulk and weight to your DROID RAZR. If you find that unacceptable, there's nothing else I can tell you that probably will change your mind. For other folks out there, I do consider this a heavy-duty case. It's not the heaviest out there, but if you were looking long and hard at the OtterBox commuter case, this is a perfect alternative for whatever reason you don't want to use that one, okay? Another product that you might want to consider is the Cydio Active. I don't think we've reviewed that yet, but that's also a competitor to the Trident Aegis, but I actually personally believe the Aegis is a little bit better overall, although the Cydio Active is a little bit more flexible. So you're going to have to watch that review to know what I'm talking about. So I think that old fans will love the new Aegis case. New fans will love the Aegis case. Please check this out for the DROID RAZR. Once again, at their website at tridentcase.com and our own website at daydeal.com. Thanks as always for watching. See you guys next video. If you need to hit us up elsewhere, please check it out at the outro graphic.